It's the day after the final day of the Southampton Boat Show, and all of this lot have got to go home, including this, the Sunseeker Ocean 156, and we're going to join it on its journey from here back to Basin Pool via Lymington to get a taste of what it's like on a slightly longer passage and find out how it performs and handles, given that for its length it's absolutely enormous. I'm Jack Haines, welcome to YachtBuyer. The crossover segment is booming. This is new territory for Sunseeker, but it already faces direct competition from the likes of the Princess X80 and Foredeck Infinito 80, and they're all chasing the same thing: volume. Unlike the larger Ocean 182, which was based on an existing platform, this 156 is brand new from the keel up and includes fresh interior design from the UK firm Design Limited. It has a dizzying array of layout options, especially on the main deck, more on that later, and it's powered by either 1300 or 1650 horsepower MAN engines for a claimed top speed with the latter of 25 knots. Now, let's find out how it handles some quite feisty test conditions. If you enjoy our sea trials, and as you can see we go out in any weather, now's a good time to subscribe and like, and remember to hit the bell icon as well so you're notified every time we upload a new video. Right, let's see what this is like to drive. Well, it's certainly a decent test today. We're heading into a metre and a half. It's blowing hard over the nose, and it is remarkably well insulated from the conditions we have outside. That's what comes from being so high up on the boat. You know, the engines are a long way away, they melt into the background. We are currently pulling just under 2,000 RPM and doing 19 knots, which is about the cruising speed, no matter the fast cruising speed anyway, no matter the conditions. It tops out at around 25, so in terms of fast cruising, this is where you want to be, and the fact that we're maintaining that so solidly through this sea state and the boat feels comfortable doing it is impressive. Of course, if you drop it down to 10 to 12 knots, then with a 9,000 litre fuel capacity, you're looking at more like 900 nautical miles of cruising, and that's the sort of speed this boat's going to spend a lot of its time at. But its rivals like the Foredeck Infinito 80 and Horizon, they're going to be topping out this boat's cruising speed. So that's the flexibility you get with this and the Princess X80. They can hit these high speeds, so you can cruise at the high speeds, but equally if you want to slow down, it's fully stabilised with Humphrey's electric fin stabilisers, so you can do those slower speeds and munch the miles a lot more slowly, and obviously fuel efficiency is much better as well. And talking of the Humphrey system, it's really being put to test today. This is a tall boat, it's got a high centre of gravity, but these fins work in tandem with the blades and they do really take the edge off the ride. It's not only got the side-to-side roll, but it's got pitch as well, and it's remarkably level considering what we're going through, and we haven't been able to do it too much, but in the calmer waters of the Solent, where we got it up to about 25 knots and we could throw it around a bit more, it's amazing that when you turn, what do they call it here? They use the coordinated turn system that Humphrey's got that actually dial in the blades to produce a much smoother curve. Often if you turn one of these big boats, it'll turn hard and it'll swing back level and you get that slightly uncomfortable roll. The Humphrey system removes all of that, so you get a really impressively sharp turn for a boat of this size. I was prepared for it to be a bit of a lumbering giant. I have to say that is not the case at all, and it's pretty sprightly as well with these bigger engines too. There's plenty of power here on tap, and as I said, we've just had this pinned at 20 knots through what is pretty grim conditions, and it feels like it could go through it all day. It's not quite as comfortable downstairs, but certainly up here in the rarefied air of the raised wheelhouse, it's great, and it's a really commanding central position. I'm sitting, obviously, you've got electric control here, it's all fully adjustable. I can't quite see the bow, I can just see the flag if I crane it like this, but actually out at sea it doesn't matter too much. You've got a sense of where the bow is, and it also contains the spray really well. I mean, I did think with that stubby bow we'd get showered in sea spray, and actually it contains that really well, and the view is great. You've got these twin Garmin MFDs, they're really nice and clear. They're a long way away, but you have got the remote control down here, so you can control everything from there without having to like leaning forward and stabbing at them in this sort of weather. That's annoying. Here, having a proper control is great. You've got the CM8 system down here as well. That's all of the boat's systems you can see, got oversight of here. It's all really nicely laid out, and a great position as well. Now you can have another Bezons only seat here if you want, but then you lose this seating area. The seating area is quite nice because it works for people to use on passage. We've had crew here all day sitting here, but it's also a nice lounging area when the boat's at rest. Obviously, if it's just another seat, no one's really going to use that when the boat's at rest, so it's a good flexible space. But yeah, I've been really impressed with how it's handled these conditions. You'd think it would be the sort of weather that could catch a boat like this out, especially at slower speed, given its height and its windage. But it contains itself really well, and the systems work very effectively to do that. I want to talk a bit more about this deck because it's clever about how comfortable it is to travel, not just for the helmsman but for the passengers. And then once we've done that, we're going to head into Lymington and we're going to see what it's like throughout the rest of the boat. Stepping away from the helm then, let's talk a little bit more about this area. One thing I want to point out first, this nice lighting that you've got around the edge of the helm here, and if Nick presses the right button it's going to change colour, which is rather cool. Obviously you want a red one, so at night it's not ruining your night vision, but in the day that does look quite snazzy. The lighting's very nice actually, although this lighting here recessed underneath the sunroof works very effectively. And talking of the sunroof, this is an option, but it's one you're definitely going to want to have, because not only does it bring in loads of natural light, but the ventilation options in this area are really good, because you've got that. This entire window also drops down. That's a big old thing to come down. Then you've got the doors over on this side which lead out onto the foredeck there, so you can have that open, and of course you can open the aft doors. So in terms of natural air coming through this area, if you don't want to rely wholly on the air conditioning, not too bad. And this is your seating area. There is an option to have, if you've got the second helm seat, this can extend further back so you get a slightly bigger sofa up here, because this isn't enormous, but it is opposite what is a nice sized TV with the sound bar underneath. There's a bar section over here, but as an option you can have a day head up here, so you've got a bathroom on this level as well as down below if you wanted that. You can have a hot tub as well on this deck out forward, so it's a lot going on here. You know, it is a place to travel. It's a nice relaxed place to come and have a drink, more intimate maybe than downstairs, but it's got some good deck spaces as well. And through the magic of editing, we're going to head out there. I'll be wearing a coat and it's going to be a lot lighter. I actually wanted to film this section out on the water because it is blowing, well gusting at least 25 knots, maybe more, over the bow right now. But despite that, here on this upper aft deck, which is clearly very open, it is really protected. We've got the doors slid pretty much all the way across, but of course because it's fully sealed forward, I'm really very well protected from the elements. And this is a big space. If you put the flat plans of the Ocean 182, its bigger sister, and this one next to each other, this has got a bigger outdoor space. Yeah, slightly smaller in there, but you really feel the space out here. And again, it's flexible. This has got all the Minotti furniture, but you could have dining out here, fixed seating, whatever you like. But this is a really nice relaxed lounging area. There is a pop-out shade here if the sun's around and you want to protect yourself from it. Wet bar over on this side. That's quite nice as well, because you've got a big grill here, sink over there, and your usual way of cooling space underneath. And one thing you haven't got is symmetrical movement around the boat. You have that on some of this boat's rivals, but to get the beam in the wheelhouse, it's gone right out to the edge, so you can't walk around to the bow section, but there's a side door opposite the helm, which means you can get out to that foredeck where you've got a really nice seating area. Okay, not amazing if you're going into the sort of wind we're going into today, but on a calm day, coming into harbour, that elevated view forward of the bridge is a really nice space. Works well. So Lymington Yacht Haven has very kindly asked the guys to come down here at the fuel berth, which is tight for a boat of this size, and you'll notice that Nick, the captain, has come down from the upper helm to here, down to this docking station to do the close quarters stuff, so we're more in touch with the elements. Obviously you're very isolated up there. This boat's not got the cameras fitted. You can have a full Garmin camera suite. That would be very useful if you want to do close quarter stuff from up there. I should also point out that there's a wing station on the port side on the upper deck as well. This boat actually isn't functioning at the moment, so they're using this. So you've got these two different points on deck to do the mooring from, and obviously in tight moorings like this, this type of position is very important. I should point out he's got full control down here, so he's got the bow and stern thrusters, super powerful bow and stern thrusters on this boat. The bow is standard, stern is an optional upgrade, and then twin throttles as well. It's got the Zenta joystick fitted as well, which controls everything, so that combines all the thrusters and the props if you want to use joystick control. But Nick's going old school down here. Throttles, very powerful thrusters doing the work in what is a pretty tight berth. Right, as you can see, it's far from peak conditions to film this, but we're going to be filtering lots of Sunseeker's own lovely B-roll of all this stuff being used in slightly better conditions. But let's begin the tour anyway. Back here we have this beach club effect that's now very familiar on the Ocean range. You've got the platform that drops down here, but it's actually fixed here. So your platform starts here, and this is big enough to carry a Williams 435, and there's also space behind that for a jet ski. So you can carry both of those on at the same time. This has got the optional extend seating system. It's a cost option around 120 grand, but that means this lifts like a garage for storage, and then you have this section which drops down to put a seat facing aft, but then the whole thing will lift up and into the cockpit so it faces in there. We'll talk a bit more about how that works when inside the cockpit, but we've seen it before with Sunseeker. We'll chuck in some B-roll so you can see how it works, but it's still a brilliant effect. They've really perfected it at this point, and it's a nice option, if an expensive one. And then we have down here, you've got the bar. This is another option, but it's a nice one. Pops out on a ram. I say wet bar, it's more of a cooktop with some catches here, but it does open up and there's a ram, so you can not only have your cooktop, but you've also got somewhere to prepare the food as well. I'll just close that back up again so it doesn't get too wet. And then you've got equal access up both sides into the cockpit. Incidentally, underneath both of these staircases there's dedicated C-bob storage, so you can tuck those away either side without them having to take up space inside the transom. Set up there now. Flexibility of layout is a massive part of what the Ocean 156 is about, and that starts here in the cockpit. There are so many layout options. I'm going to recommend that you go to the YachtBuyer website, find this boat's page and have a look. We've got all the flat pans there so you can see side by side how they all differ. I'll put a link to that page in the description as well. But in principle, with Extend, this has got the Minotti furniture option. Again, it's a cost option, but this is all freestanding, very stylish furniture that is designed to enjoy the Extend system. So these doors pin open, connect to that clamshell that comes up to provide the seat facing in, and then you have this lovely relaxing seating area which really is a place just to chill out and relax. You can of course have a dining table out here, you can have fixed GRP seating either facing in or facing out. Again, it's incredibly flexible. With Extend this makes a lot of sense. Other things in this cockpit, on this side we've got a docking station. So we saw that when we were coming into berth, but that's where it is, that's the access, and then it hides away when you're not using it. On the opposite side, there's a wet bar over there, and you've got a bit of cooling space as well. So this just lifts up. Obviously, it's all soaking wet, but yes, you've got your wet bar there. And then fridge and ice maker as well. And then this is quite interesting, on this side, you've got a day head. And this is a pretty sensible place to have the day head, I'd say. A lot of the time these main deck day heads are inside, but this is great because if you're using this area, if you're swimming, coming out the water, you can go in there, you don't have to worry about getting the boat wet, but you can go to the loo and you're straight back out into where the action is. I think that's a really sensible piece of design. On this side, in this boat, this is storage, and really useful storage. We've chucked all our kit in here today, shoes, everything, all fits in there really nicely. However, if you have that, you don't get a staircase up to the upper deck from outside. There's one internally, that's always there, but if you want the external staircase, which some people may want, you will sacrifice this locker. Now before we head inside and check out that amazing main deck, let's go and have a look at the foredeck. It's a symmetrical arrangement on the main deck, so you've got the same size decks on either side. You'll note here these floor to ceiling windows, so we're going to see the benefit of on the inside. And I like the way they've got the railing recessed here. This is very tall. You can see it's coming up to just underneath my armpit, but you've got the railing on the inside keeping the lines nice and clean, and then you've got the glass as well inset underneath, and that works really effectively. Lovely big mooring gear all worked in to the bulwarks as well, and again this impression of the glass here right down to teak level, and you know, up to my head level here. There's about 6 foot of glass either side. We're going to see the benefit of that when we pop inside in a second. And I think this is a really cool piece of design, this foredeck. You've got the seating that is at slightly different angles, which looks a bit strange at first, certainly from the plan, but actually it works really nicely, and it means that these are quite sociable. They sort of face each other, so you can split the group, but everybody can still communicate. These tables are on high-low legs, so they can drop down, and when the sun shines, unlike today, you can actually put some sun pads down here and relax and sunbathe. There's shade up here as well. There's some slots from carbon fibre poles, so you've got some shade up here, and your nice built-in cup holders as well. And this is quite clever. They've got really deep storage here, really deep, underneath both these sections. So what they want is you to be able to keep all of your kit for certain areas in the same place where it's going to be used. So all the covers, for example, for here can all fit under there. There's another one over that side. There's storage underneath all of the chairs as well. But what they've also worked in up here is another mini bar. And I think they're working on the option to have a grill up here as well, but obviously this is a sink and yet more cooling space. You are never too far away from somewhere to wash your hands or grab a drink on board this boat. It's a really cool area, but the coolest thing about it is how it connects to the interior. So let's head inside and have a look at that now. Right, it's nice and dry in here, so I can remove my coat. And I know that you've probably made your mind up about the way this boat looks already, and I'm no doubt populating the comments with your thoughts. Whatever you think of it, the benefit of this design, this enclosed flybridge design, is found here on the main deck. This is the wow moment, the way that it is all level, right forward. Not only can you see right to the bow, you can get out at the bow, and that is pretty unique in this sector. The other thing that's pretty unique is how flexible it is. The only fixed point on this deck when it comes to layout is the staircase. That has to be there. Everything else is flexible. The galley can be aft, amidships as it is. You can have your dining space back here. You can have your dining space forward, as we've got on this boat. You can have a main deck master cabin as well. And that really comes into play when we see the cabins downstairs and the amount of amazing living space that gives you. But let's focus on this boat's layout for now, which obviously gives you your living space aft, this big L-shaped sofa. I mentioned the windows. You see how they disappear back behind the sofa? The amount of light in here, and I say it a lot on boats, but it really is extraordinary. There's so much glass on this thing, very obvious on the outside. The effect in here is pretty mega. Sofa opposite the big TV, lots of storage down here. Detailing is lovely. They've got these fabulous new handles here. These are all metal, feel really nice to touch, and they've got the clips in them. Got these throughout, and this sort of relief detail on the cupboards looks really, really smart. It's a whole new palette with Design Unlimited for this boat, and it does feel different, fresh, bright. It's lovely. With your midships galley layout, this is obviously very open. This is designed to feel like a home, like an apartment. If you're running the boat with crew, you can fully enclose this if you want, and then through this door here, the crew can get out to the deck. I think this arrangement works really well. It's very family focused, it's very open. You can converse as the person in the kitchen as well with that seating area there, as you can with the people in the dining area there. And it's a massive galley. Look at all the worktop you've got everywhere. Over here as well. Dishwasher is mounted underneath here. You've got your cooking over on that side. Nice big twin sink. And I like the things like these handles. It all feels really, really high quality. All metal, all nice to the touch. Everything else is recessed, you know, the switches are all hidden away. It's really, really nicely done. And it's the way these areas all connect that I think is so nice. And they've got this big staircase here, but it's been designed so you can see through it from that side, you can see through it from that side as well. This is all broken up as well, so it doesn't feel like you're being blocked off at all. Obviously you can do that if you want the privacy in the galley, but I think this open plan arrangement is really where this boat feels at its best. Worth pointing out there's sliding doors over on that side as well. So in terms of ventilation, moving around the decks and moving in and out this boat, it's excellent. I really like the round dining table as well. It's big for a boat of this size, but it doesn't feel like it's being pinched. You've still got plenty of space to move around it here. The storage down either side. And again, you're picking up those floor to ceiling windows. And this is where the glass in the top sides is important, because when you're sitting here at the table, your eye line is still seeing glass. You're not seeing GRP. So maybe not seeing the best of it inside a wet Lymington marina, but you can imagine when you're out in the water how nice that would be. Yet more storage in this bar section here, and a wine cooler too. You've got domestic fridge and freezer over on that side, inside the galley there. You can also make this into a bar area as an option, so you can have stools here and make this a proper bar. Again, that's giving you even more socialising space. The flexibility for what is ostensibly a production boat is pretty mind-blowing. They've worked really hard to think of every layout that a customer could possibly want. But as I said, this for me is the best bit. Unfortunately, maybe not when the teak is soaking wet, but so easy just to pop these doors open and then you're straight out onto the foredeck. And remember, if this is where you have the cabin, where you have the owner's cabin, that becomes your private terrace. We're talking the cabins. Let's head downstairs and have a look at them. It's a 4-cabin arrangement on the lower deck, 4 cabins, 4 bathrooms. Of course, how you use this may differ depending on whether you've got the main deck owner's cabin, but let's look at this arrangement as it is. We'll start with the guests. So here to starboard, we've a double, a good sized double as well. Headroom, I don't know, 6'3", 6'4" probably. But you know, it's a small double, but with enough space to walk around. Very few level changes as well in this accommodation. It's really easy to move around, there's no steps, nothing to bang your head on, and they've got really nice bathrooms as well. I'll pop into this one just to show you one of the smaller guest suites, but it's still got a lovely big hull window, separate shower cubicle with a rain shower head over the top, Really nice bureau sink arrangement here with storage underneath, and these lovely mirrors. The bathroom wear is beautiful. It's the same throughout. It's really, really high quality. Detailing is fab. I love this little effect here on the door handle. It all just, for everything you interact with, the bits you touch feel very high quality, very tactile. It's a very rewarding thing to open a door and open a cupboard on. We'll pop over the hallway. This is set up as a twin. I suspect you can have sliding berths here. It certainly looks like you can, but obviously with them apart, you can walk down the middle. You'll see headroom is maintained. The floor is flat. They're relatively decent size. You know, if you've got adults in here, they'd be comfortable enough in those. Again, your whole window is good, so natural light is absolutely fine. And then storage is excellent as well. There's a locker behind me here. And it's got an ensuite, a very similar size to the one we've seen over there. So I won't show you that again. Individual AV as well. TV behind the door here. That one's got a TV, of course. You've got the Dometic system as well, so you have individual air conditioning control, meaning that each cabin can have its own temperature depending on how the occupants are feeling. We'll head forward and come to the VIP. Well, this is the VIP in this format. I'll start in the bathroom because it's quite a remarkable space. Very, very big for a VIP. Forward, heated towel rail up here, which is a nice addition. A massive shower cubicle, and we're really seeing this design now. These lovely big mirrors. Wait till you see the one in the owner's cabin. It's pretty extraordinary, but again, you've got these nice little details that are mirrored from up in the saloon. It does look and feel so nice. I really enjoy the decor that they've got on this version. And then into the cabin itself. Floor space is huge. Look at this great big bit of counter you've got on the port side here, and then plenty of floor space too. There are a few changes in level as you get towards the bed, but headroom's so good. I'm standing on a step here, and I'm not having to stoop at all. You've got an escape hatch overhead, no glass, but it doesn't really feel like you need it because you've got decent hull windows on both sides and nice big portholes as well, so you can get some fresh air in here if you want. Nice to see repeaters up at the top of the bed as well, so you've got plug sockets here, lighting, your reading light, nice little flat surfaces here with a ridge so you can leave phones and jewellery and things there, and they're not going to slide about. And you've also got electric blinds, so you can control the blinds from the bed, and that's the same in every cabin as well, which is a nice touch. But yeah, it's an extraordinary space, given this is the VIP, we're still yet to see the owner's cabin. Before we get there though, I'll just point this out. As an option, in these spaces, you can have a washer and a dryer. There's one in the crew cabin, but often guests like to be able to wash their own clothes, and they can do that in the guest areas, which makes a lot of sense. Obviously this boat's not got them specs, so they're relying on the machines that are in the crew cabin. Right, into the owner's suite. Now bear in mind, this is the owner's suite on this version. If you have the main deck master, this is your VIP. And the VIP is, I don't know what, a really nice third guest cabin. Incredible really. If you're looking for charter, that would be a pretty good layout. However, when this is your owner's cabin, it's still a pretty nice space and some lovely detailing. This is an option to have this, what they call sort of New York skyline look in the bedhead there. That all lights up as well, but you can just have a sort of fabric bedhead if you don't want that option. It's just the way I can move around so easy, I suppose. Floor space is great, headroom towering, nice amount of space over here, lovely big wide bedside table, and you've got all the same repeaters and everything that I've mentioned in the other cabins. Everything's just got a little bit more room to breathe. Huge bureau underneath that window, lines up perfectly. If you're going to do some work, that's a nice place to do it, but it's also somewhere where you can do makeup, store your jewellery. There's a big mirror there, and there's storage either side. Talking storage, you can see it's full of cushions, but demonstrates quite how large these storage spaces are. That's quite a handy little locker area, and there's another one behind the mirror as well, so you're not short of storage, and quite nice that this one's got the safe built in. But I think it's the bathroom that has some real wow factor as well, because look at the size of this. Because they've not got what you term a full walk-in wardrobe, they've allowed this to really stretch for most of the beam of the boat, so this feels huge. And this mirror, how do they even get this down here? I mean, it's amazing to see furniture this big tucked inside a bathroom on a boat of this size. It's really lovely. Twin sinks, all the storage neatly integrated underneath, and there's some really subtle detailing like as well. So when you get towards the shower bit where things might start getting wet, you see how the floor turns from wood to what I assume is corian. Either way, when you get to the bit where it's going to get wet, it's very easy to clean, easy to dry, and it sort of denotes the two areas. You see it happens on the wall as well. I quite like that detail. And this is another very large shower cubicle. Massive space, again frosted, but you've got a window, so natural light's pretty good. You've got your rain shower head overhead, and then the wand as well, a bit of storage up here as well. It's a really luxurious space. I think they have Done some fantastic work on the interior of this boat. Let's go and see what the crew space is like. Access down to this space is actually pretty good. It's a nice sliding door on the port side deck and then a decent staircase down into this area. There's no real mess area though, nowhere for the crew to relax away from guests when they want to have some private time. They've got a place to prepare food, they've got a sink and they've got a fridge and they've got a microwave. Separate cabins, bunk cabins, they are full of cushions, but we'll use a cutaway to show you what those spaces look like. So you've got two of those, but yeah, it's not a great place for the crew to be able to hang out. However, they have got a shared bathroom, which is large enough to have a separate shower cube, because that's not a wet room, so it won't get soaked when you have a shower. That's a reasonable size, but yeah, not a great place for the crew to come and hang out. However, this is where the washer dryer, I mentioned you can have them in accommodation. You've also got them here in the crew space. But crucially, this area does connect directly to the engine room through a watertight door just there. In the engine room, when you first come through the door, headroom's great. I can stand up very comfortably here. It's very, very well lit as well. There's a second exit entrance over there too, straight onto deck, so that's very easy if you need to come down quickly from the cockpit. You've got your distribution boards up here and your switches all very readily to hand. Same over on this side. And then you can actually drop down between the engines pretty easily. The headspace drops down, but so does the floor, so I can get down here and inspect them relatively comfortably. These big old MAN V12 blocks, they're on V drives, hence why they're a little bit further back. That's also what gives them so much space to play with inside the accommodation. And you've got your generators tucked back here. It does feel a little bit compact, and there's a lot packed into here. It's not a huge engine space because they've put the onus on having obviously a crew cabin and lots of space in the guest accommodation, but it's not too bad at all. And certainly being able to get around the engines and be able to inspect the shafts and the bilges is all really quite easy. The base price of the Ocean 156 is £5.85 million excluding VAT, but our test boat, which was hull number 1 and therefore loaded with pretty much every optional extra, came in at just under £6.93 million excluding VAT. Some of its key cost options included the main deck galley amidships, sliding doors forward in the saloon, the sunroof in the upper saloon, the X10 seating system, Humphreys fin stabilisers and trim control, air conditioning, the Atlas shore power regulators, Samsung's Sonos AV throughout, and a suite of Garmin electronics. I'll admit that this morning I arrived for this test with a bit of a preconceived idea of what I thought this boat would be like. I could see that the living space is amazing, the volume, the flexibility, but I also thought there were bound to be some compromises when it came to dynamics to make a boat this long, as tall as it is and as spacious as it is. But what's been proved today in far than peak conditions is that this boat can really handle. Performance is great, it can handle the rough stuff as well. No owner would really want to go out in conditions like this, but it's nice to know that if you get caught out, the boat can handle it, more than handle it, almost relish the conditions charging through it at 20 knots. And I understand that the looks are divisive. I'm very much 50-50 on how this boat looks from the outside. However, the payoff is that the amount of space you get, the flexibility you get, and what customers are looking for, and why this sector is so popular, living space, home away from home, that apartment feel, it delivers that in spades, but it still has that Sunseeker spark, which is so important to this brand. But let me know, if you were in the market for this style of boat at this size, would you opt for this, the Princess X80, or the Ferretti Infinito 80? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching that sea trial and very damp review of the Sunseeker Ocean 156. If you enjoyed it, please do give the video a like. If you want to see our tour of this boat's direct rival from Princess, the X80, I'll put that for you up there. If you want more Sunseeker sea trials, put those down there. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can do that by clicking up here. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.